All right, let's see what Bellular thinks about it. So this is the this just came out.
Welcome back. Okay, I am here in the Dragonflight Alpha. I've been playing this quite a lot over the last 2 days, and today I'm going to give you my impressions on all of it. We're going to have deep dive videos on many different topics coming out on the channel over the next few days and as this testing process continues. So, of course, do be sure to subscribe to this channel. We will have a lot of content for you and a lot of gameplay live streams as well of this. So I'm going to go through everything today. Now, the
NPCs look cool. Like, I know it's like something small, but I like how they look. What do y'all think? Like, it's something small, but I do like how they look.
What is in this alpha? What is not? Well, right now, we've got one zone. We've got Drakthir. So, what is not? Well,
I like the cone there. That's the same cone they have in Diablo Immortal. That's good.
Right now, we've got one zone, we've got Drakthir, and we've got a few of the new talent revamps, new systems like dragon riding, so there is quite a lot to show off. First then, the zone that I'm in. So this is the Azure Span.
Oh, wow. So that's the map right there. Holy shit. Okay, so there's the map. Let me move my cam so y'all can see what's going on here. Onarian Plains, Waking Shores, Thaldraszus, the Azure Span, and the Forbidden Reach
is, I believe, the third zone that you get in this expansion.
All right, so
far I'd say it definitely, man, it's got that kind of like
looks small. To me, I don't like. They said the Azure Span was bigger than any zone they've ever made. So like, I don't know the scope of like how big it is. Like the size of the map doesn't really matter to me.
Northrendy feel, which of course,
yeah, we're gonna play and we're gonna see.
You'll know that I very much do like that. And of course, very obvious here, we are in one of the Kalawak settlements. And one of the things that I think is certainly interesting is like
nice.
Seeing the Kalawak, but be done by modern Blizzard, you know?
Yeah.
Modern art assets, modern level
of
quality.
Looks good.
It ends up being just a really nice place to hang out.
Okay.
Now, if I hit the C key, bam, here I am. Dragon riding. I've got a full video on dragon riding coming out. One of the shocking things that I found in that, there are cases where dragon riding is like double the speed of a normal flying mount. And that feels pretty damn awesome.
Holy shit.
As is saving money, accessing more content, and being more
God
secure.
fucking damn,
Today's
that's
sponsor,
fast.
NordVPN.com/Bellular Gaming.
Oh,
it does
man.
just that, and it's available at my link with an exclusive deal and a 30-day money-back guarantee.
NordVPN basically has a logo of my hairline.
You are in any place on Earth. And
I don't know what to think about that.
I use Nord to access region-restricted content.
Yeah,
on
I don't know.
Landscape that is online streaming services. And
like, shouldn't they be paying me for that?
Tom Scott,
somebody
use
needs
to avoid being price gouged by car rental companies, saving him hundreds.
Let's make sure. Okay, yeah.
They also, of course, keep you private.
So I'll make sure my camera's in the right spot.
Isn't going to know what sites you use.
Cam top right. Stop telling me where to put the cam. Cam's going to be right here.
Which is a pretty damn good thing. Nor can they prioritize some of the traffic that you use over other traffic. And they've got other great security products too, like NordPass, which makes your passwords secure and convenient.
Okay.
Which is great. It's all in the app and the browser extension. That's super, super easy to use, and you can get the exclusive offer at nordvpn.com/Bellular Gaming with, of course, 30-day money-back guarantee.
Okay.
So, thanks to them for supporting our channel, for sponsoring this video,
yeah.
and letting us do things like literally grow the team so we can bring you more content on Alpha.
That stuff
more
actually
videos,
works.
More of everything.
Do you use it? No, I don't need to.
Let's get back to it.
I've never used it before.
So right now, there's no music in the game. But in terms of like just a nice immersive world, I certainly was totally getting what I wanted from this zone. This is, of course, just one small part of it, though. So I'm going to head over, and in doing so, I'll show you, like, it's a little bit of the limitations of the base dragon riding system.
Okay.
But anyway, going through here, you do get, like, a little bit of the Grizzly Hills, don't you? All right? So all of that's quite nice.
Uh-huh.
All the things that you would imagine, like the art assets, etc., are beautiful. And for me, what's been great is that I've appreciated Blizzard's artwork and the likes of Shadowlands. I just haven't cared for the theme, like, whatsoever. So for me, this is feeling like a slice of core Warcraft, but being done up to that super high new standard.
Okay.
It looks and feels great. Even if I go in here, oh, look at this. It's gnolls. And how about I use these gnolls as an opportunity to show you a little bit of being a Drakthir.
All right,
And
so
again,
let's see
there's
it.
even just something that's kind of nostalgic about, you know, fighting some gnolls. So these guys, you know, I've got like my beam attack.
Okay.
We've got a full deep dive in the works.
Yeah,
Me and
I
Matt
like
have been
that.
going
That's
through
good.
This, quite a bit. I mean, you know, bam, talents. Whole new talent system. Whole new thing to learn. It's kind of hard. So, like, as an example, here's the new, like, empowered abilities. So when you hold the button...
So that's the thing where, like, you charge it, and it has, like, 3 different levels. Like, I like that a lot, because it reminds me a lot of, like, Hellblade with, what do you call it? With Lost Ark. Yeah, I like it a lot, man. Yeah, it's exactly like Lost Ark.
you know, different things will happen. So for the Eternity Surge, I think because those were like little creeps, the like animation didn't fully play, but for Eternity Surge, it like damages more enemies the longer you hold it.
Yeah.
For the Fire Breath, it does more damage over time the longer you hold it, but it still has the same single target component.
Okay.
So it ends up all being like quite fun.
So you can make it an AoE attack if you hold it
which lets
longer.
me instantly do a fully empowered ability.
Holy
so I can
shit.
just go bam and like blast a whole bunch of dudes. Now I'll throw down some pyres, which was honestly a bit silly because that's not the ability.
I feel like this looks pretty cool. Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys like it or not? Yeah, like, I think it looks good, man. It definitely does. RK Mage, yeah. Same thing, reskinned. Well, I think that's fine. I think really what people don't want, like, people want to have just, like, more content in general. I think that's what matters the most. Yeah, people just want more content.
I should use in this case. But anyway, that's like a little bit of Drakthir. What I'd say right now with Drakthir is where their strength is that they have really cool singular big abilities. And I'm going to use one for you right now, okay? So, I mean, get a load of this.
Okay.
It's just cool.
What the fuck?
Alpha is alpha. All right, so a few things. There's a new type of targeting
Okay, yeah, there we go.
like this. So this is like kind of neat. Lots of really good information. If I click on that, you know, bam, and I do this really big route. Now another cool ability information. If I click on that, you know,
That's really cool. That is fucking, that's actually badass.
bam, and I do this really big route. Now another cool ability that I've got, one of the ones they were I think very keen to show off at BlizzCon, is this, where I can just kind of go boom. Right? Like that's just sweet. But then
I feel like that's like such a big animation lock. I don't know if you'd ever really want to use that. Like it's one of those abilities that like it looks really cool, but like see like everybody's like, oh, that's in PvP. Bro, like you see somebody fucking dive bombing, you hit them with a stun, and I bet they go from like right here, and there's like not even an animation to them hitting the ground. They're flying, and then next fucking frame, they're like, right? Like guaranteed. So it could be stun immune. It's actually stun immune. Oh. Okay. Okay, that is interesting. All right, yeah, that would be fucking cool.
If I tap it again, I actually go back to my original location. So that's pretty sweet. I can then use the Fire Breath.
Just move out of it? Yeah, true.
The, Eternity Surge. And, I mean, man, I did just blast a bunch of boys. So
why are there 5 bag slots? There have been 4 bag slots for a long time. Are they adding another inventory bag slot? Now, I know you guys might think Asmongold is saved. I'm not. I'm just going to figure out 30 more items to carry with me that I don't need. Yep.
That side of it actually feels pretty damn good. Okay, there'll be a lot more in Drakthir later on. I've been doing decently extensive testing on the DPS spec, while Matt has been doing it on the healing spec. And funny enough, he's basically pretty damn glowing about what the healing spec is like.
I feel like if Matt likes it, it's good. Because that guy is always the reality check. You know what I mean? Like that guy, if he likes it, if it's actually good, then it's really good, right? Yeah, he is the reality check. If it's actually good, there it is. He's the litmus test. Yeah.
So to give you some of like the art and the vibes, here obviously we've got the more foresty situation. You saw the more Northrend-like.
This looks really nice.
Guys. I'm now going to head into a little bit of a different.
So how big is the area?
Fly over to that. And you just see like a little bit more of what they've going on, sort of got going on with the art.
The zone's
this
pretty.
Is one thing that I like.
I really like this because it's like a very open. Well, he'll probably say the same thing I am actually.
Nice, big, open areas.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. And so the reason why I like it is that, like, I felt like with Legion and with BFA and also, like, to a degree with Shadowlands, right? It's like every cave and everything, like, every object in the game has, like, 7 different uses to it, and it's all, like, hyper fucking maximized. Whereas whenever you're just playing, like, one of the old zones, there are just certain areas in the zones that just simply look cool. That's it. They just simply look cool. And I like that. That's great. Yeah, zones, yeah, they were way too dense and busy.
That is another thing that I've really appreciated as I've been playing the game. I think a lot of the zones in the modern game, they've got kind of cramped, kind of hemmed in, and that just hasn't really worked particularly well for me, to be honest. It's not been as good for the fantasy. It's felt more like a gameplay space created by a designer than anything else. Okay, another thing you might be wondering about then is the...
It's like kind of one of the other... It sounds like paradoxical, right? But like it's one of the kind of good things about Elden Ring is that there are a lot of places in Elden Ring that are just there. Right? Like not every single nook and cranny has a fucking cave in it. And it's like it can be annoying if you're trying to find something like that, but I actually think that it's cool in a different way. How do you talk about this critical design stuff? Stuff about how Tarkov is too complex? Because I haven't played Tarkov for 15 years.
Campaign, the leveling, what's that like? The questing. Hard to say. There's definitely quite a few cutscenes and things. I know that much because the amount of, like, placeholders.
Thank fucking God. Like, they need more cutscenes. That's one of the things, like, they need more than anything. It's like, yes, more cutscenes, more stuff like that, so people can feel like they're actually part of the story. That's big good.
That Blizzard have shown me, so those things are evidently not
ready yet. Video about TSM.
Also, I've not played through it with voice acting or music, and those things are pretty big for the narrative experience.
Yeah,
I mean, that's certainly something we've learned in our own development.
I know this might upset some people, but I generally think that the prologue stuff for Shadowlands was good. Like the Lillian Voss quest line with Undercity, the Sylvanas and Anduin thing. I think these were good. They were well voice acted and everything. I'm talking about everything after the story of the Jailer. The Jailer was a fucking massive L. It was garbage. But I'm saying after that, the epilogue. What did I say? Prologue? Yeah, I mean epilogue. Yeah. Like I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, I meant epilogue. Yeah. Everything after Sepulchre. I feel like all of that stuff was great.
So those are really important, and they're obviously not there. In terms of flow and that kind of thing.
And like you can see why. Because you think about it, right, is that a lot of the people that kind of like started Shadowlands are no longer at the company. So like the people that are making the game, like, yeah, they could have done it better. They still fumbled it. It was garbage. And there's not really an excuse for this, but it makes sense, right? Because like if you're taking over the story halfway through, you don't know how it was supposed to end. Like what the fuck are you supposed to do? Right, you can make the best of it, but like there's not really that much you can do because the odds are the next expansion is still being developed, so you have to lead 1 into 2. And it just puts you in a bad spot. I think it makes sense. They scrapped a lot too. Yeah, they probably had to. Because like didn't they say specifically that Alex Afrasiabi was the one that wanted to have Sylvanas burn down the tree, but the guy wasn't there to finish and show the whole the whole thing.
Similar enough to what you would expect. So you have a, well, I've actually done it, so I can't see it anymore, but you've got a primary campaign that is through the zone, and then you have loads of side quests.
Yeah.
Essentially, the campaign is moving you through the A-plot. The side quests then are more fleshing out the areas and the peoples. I think, honestly,
and they took that probably from Final Fantasy. Yeah, they took that from Final Fantasy, and that's actually a good thing. Like, I liked how whenever you go to one of the zones, you're able to, like, you can do the MSQ and do all that, but, like, you can do the other quests and figure out, like, what those characters in the area are about. That's actually smart to do. If you're pausing it too much, I got a lot to talk about. It's too bad.
All of the nicer stuff is going to be found in the side quests. That's not any knock in the main quest, by the way, and I'm not going to do spoilers right now. It's not a knock in the main quest. It's just, for a lot of us, like, we just kind of want to see the world be, like, all built and fleshed out. It's one of the things where even though I had a lot of criticisms of the BFA expansion, I did like Kulturas. At least bits of it. You know, when you actually just felt like...
Drusvar was really, really good. The other ones were okay. But I actually think Drustvar is probably like a top 5 questing zone in the game.
Like that area was being built at. I thought that was really strong. And I feel like I'm getting some of those same strengths here as well. So there are some other things. No doubt you've noticed the UI is a bit different. This is super work in progress. I mean, these are the old like style of unit frames. We know that those are not what they're going to ship because they've actually previewed a mock-up of what the one that they plan to make looks like.
Okay.
So there's that. I mean, we've got our bars. They look a bit different, more compact.
I don't like... I feel like what they need to do is they need to make it to be where you can resize them. Like, I'll probably still use dominoes because it's better. Yeah, like that. Like, a dragon runs off. I think it's fine. That's how it's always run.
Definitely a bit of character's been lost in the art bar. I'll say that much. But you essentially do have, like, bartender built in, right? So, yeah.
Okay. All right. How about that? Ain't that just a bit of something?
No, that's kind of
all right.
cool.
They listened.
A lot of people are just going to get an add-on. They're just going to get elf or bartender or something like that. But that you can do that in the base UI, I think.
Yeah, I think that like there should never be a time where the solution to a bad feature in the UI is to download an add-on, because the majority of players in WoW, in my opinion, like if you look at the overall player base, a lot of people don't know how to download add-ons. They have no fucking idea. And especially new players. I think it's like a new player doesn't have like any context of like how to download an add-on or what the fuck this is. They just started the game a month ago or like a couple of weeks ago. That's what's happened to me. I remember whenever I first started. That's what it was. I think you're wrong. You think that somebody that just started playing the game like 2 weeks ago maybe like has all the context of how to download add-ons and like what program to use and like how to get them installed into their game and how to activate them and use them? No, I don't think so. I do not think, no, this is ridiculous. Absolutely fucking not.
Pretty damn fantastic. And then now you can see I'm sort of changing biomes into a more frosty place. Again, you know, you're getting the kind of pan-Northrend thing going on in this zone, which is one of the things that they really tried to do with it. So overall, I'll say...
I like the scale of it, you know, like the really tall trees and like that little fucking, like, whatever this is, this tower. I like that a lot.
The world that I've seen is stuff that I've basically universally loved. The questing was fun. The side quests were fun. All that stuff has been really solid, but of course...
The more I watch the dragon move around, the more it's like, yeah, man, like, those feet are a little too fast. You know what it reminded me of? Do you remember back whenever, in Warlords of Draenor, whenever the boars came out, and their running animation was like this? And, like, Blizzard had to actually, like, come out and apologize and be like, listen, the boars are too fast. We're gonna slow them down. Of
course, we do know that a World of Warcraft expansion it tends to not live or die by its leveling or having some nice side quests.
No, it doesn't matter.
For a lot of people, it's going to be the more end game side of things. What I can say is...
I do think that, like, for a casual player, for, like, a relaxed, like, you know, everyday guy, I do think it matters a lot.
What they're doing with crafting and how that provides deterministic
gearing.
Oh
my god.
I think that's actually something that could be potentially fantastic. Just as one...
Somebody played New World. Like, yeah, this is good. Like, yeah, I'm about this. Like, this is good. New World had cool crafting. I like it.
An example. But of course, we've yet to really see the full scope of that content. We don't know what the reputation system is going to look like, just that they're perhaps these kind of like mega reps that are delivered a bit differently. There are the likes of, say, the talent system, and that's an interesting...
Holy shit. Holy shit. So there it is. Here, I'll let y'all look at it for a minute. I gotta take a piss. Look at that. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. That's a lot of talents, man. That's a whole lot of talents. Oh my god. Like, I'm gonna figure out the most overpowered one. Actually, I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm not gonna talk about it. Like, I did this in New World. There was, like, some fucking basically, like, borderline exploit shit that I did to get all my gear. And I didn't show it on my stream because I wanted to exploit it whenever the game came out. And I did. I exploited the shit out of it. It was great. I'm gonna do the same thing with this.
Interesting one. I mean, here, you basically, if you kind of go towards the left, you'll get the more red spells. The more blue spells are to the right, and you can kind of hybrid around them if you're kind of going down the middle.
Yeah.
You'll almost certainly be able to get 2 end cap talents, so basically either this, or that and that. Now, when you go...
I wish you could use your I wish there weren't PvP talents. I wish the PvP talents were built into this. I feel like it's impossible to do that, but I just don't like having abilities that only work in PvP.
Going to some of the other classes, it kind of just ends up being maybe playstyle A and playstyle B.
Yeah.
Like sort of rigid playstyle A and B would be the left and right hand side, and so sort of hybrid down the
It
middle.
has to be that
For
way.
some, it's kind of
It
felt
might
a bit
be.
like, AoE's that way, single targets that way, and that hasn't felt as great. So there are...
Yeah, because it's too obvious, and like everybody just always picks, like if you go look at like the fucking like arena websites, you'll see like 98.9% of people use this talent, and then the 1.1% that's left over, those guys got boosted. Everybody fucking uses it.
Certainly, there are good things and there are bad things with the talent revamp, that's for sure. What they're doing is they're codifying things that you've had through past expansions, basically trying to put the greatest hits into this.
That's exactly
Now,
what
pro
they should
of
do.
that is it basically means no more broad power, no more bullshit. This hopefully should be a nice solid foundation to move forward from. A con of that is, I like the fantasy of Hunter. I have not enjoyed MM since Battle for Azeroth. It still's the same MM. I'm not going to play Hunter in this expansion. So when there were more regular class revamps and that kind of thing being done, I think for a lot of people that ended up being a more exciting experience. Even logging into Wrath for the first time, seeing your new end sort of end cap talents, and being like, oh, Titan's Grip, that's a cool new fantasy.
Yeah.
And those things are just not really here.
I think that's actually a really good point. Like what he's saying is he's talking about like having like different types of like end cap talent defining abilities. Like for example, like the way that you would play like a DPS warrior in classic WoW, you had like 3 different ways you'd basically play it. You could play arms, dual wield fury, or two-handed fury. And everybody pretty much played dual wield because it was better, but you could do the other 2 options. And I think that like giving people options to do different types of builds that feel different is really important.
So we'll see. The talent system is certainly very work in progress.
Yeah.
But it's going to be extremely good for the long-term health of the game. It's just, I think some
Different, like,
classes will come
capstone
off better
talents,
than
you know?
others. And you'll get a mild version of that feeling of being powered down because you are, of course, going to lose your Shadowlands borrowed power. And that's not going to feel particularly great. Certainly one funny element of these is it's almost like trying to work out the puzzle. It's like within this, they have maybe 2-3 intended builds, and you're almost trying to put that together yourself. And sometimes that can be a bit iffy. But what I definitely do know is that leveling up a class like fresh for a new player is going to feel so much more satisfying with the new talent system. So even from
That's what really matters, is because I know you guys might not think this, but there are actually new people that come in and play WoW. And whenever that happens, you don't want those people to just like not stick around. It's kind of like a big issue. It's a cap? No way. No, it's not a cap. It's not. Like I've seen many of them. Like they've told me like it's not a cap. Now obviously like is it blowing up like the same as Fortnite did back in 2018? No. But like there will be new people that come into the game regularly, and if the game can't retain those players, then it's fucking dead. Like the game's fucking dead, because at that point you only have the people that are already playing, and that number is only going to get smaller over time. So you have to have, like, it is more important, I think, to make casual players and new players feel like the game is fun than to make old players feel like playing the game for 15 years has value. It's just better for the health of the game as a whole. And this is coming from somebody who's a 15-year player. Longevity. Yeah, it's the longevity.
perspective, I think it's pretty good for the long-term health of the game. We're just going to have to see how it actually is for endgame. These are going to be going over so many different iterations. Like, they really are. Some of the ones, like, man, Feral Druid's kind of rough right now, I would say. There's a few examples. I think Shadow Priest also is a little bit rough, and I just have to imagine that those will get pretty major iterations as time goes on. So it's one of those things. There are times when we have to say alpha is alpha, but we very much need to not say that
because
when it's like, 3 weeks away from launch, and because we were very soft in things early on, they didn't.
I think that really what people should do is that if there's something that's obviously wrong with the game, nobody should sit there and be like, oh, I'm sure they'll have a solution. Like, I think that people should be like fucking united in saying, this is bad, please change this, it doesn't work, it's not fun. Because that's what happened with Shadowlands, is that Shadowlands had a lot of these like fucking obvious problems, and there weren't enough people that were complaining about them, in my opinion, and Blizzard just pushed them through.
Get fixed.
That's
right?
what's bad.
Still, you know, we got to be proper about things. This is ultimately still the same company that did Shadowlands, isn't it? I guess we're a bit more in the Drakthir then.
Not really. Most of those guys are fired, to be fair. like actually, I mean, in a certain degree, it's kind of not.
And I'm going to do like a full deep dive to run you through all of their customization options.
It's probably
there
most,
are
yeah,
so
right.
many. But that's really my point. There are so many customization options. It is insane. It is
Here, you guys can see
absolutely
the
insane how much they
that.
have put into the Drakthir. So, like, even in the head, like, every little different area of horns and fins.
I love how you're talking about how much detail. Meanwhile, the fucking spikes are clipping right through the fucking helmet. The scales, like, look at this right here. It's going right through the fucking thing. This one's going right through there. Like, I mean, yeah, it looks fine. It's not a big deal, right? Like, it's okay. I'm not upset about this. But it is funny.
Of different varieties you can change. There's like 20 different stouts. There's even some like armor that your dude can wear, because of course when you're not in, when you go into your
it looks really
Zaj
good
form, that's when you're actually wearing the gear that you're wearing. This stuff is
it's crazy how much it seems like the base character models are holding the team back, because I'm not the only person that thinks like the dragon version is just so much higher quality, right? This is like an infinitely higher level of quality. Holy shit.
In the character creator, and I very much hope that they add more of that over time. But yeah, so the Drakthir, look, I think the classes, like the specs, have been decently fun. It's just that kind of thing where, you know, that feels good.
So like, listen
right?
to that.
It's that kind of thing where, you know.
So there's a audio cue that tells you whenever you hit the thing, so you don't actually have to look at the bar.
That feels good, right? That just feels good. This is crazy. Their hover, I didn't do it there, but it shoots you forward a little bit if you press a button with it, and then you can cast while moving for a bit. Like, that feels pretty damn sweet.
Casting while moving is like, you shouldn't be able to always do it, but I liked how in, I think it was like Mists of Pandaria or Legion, one of the two, where you could cast a few spells while moving. Yeah, like almost like slide casting.
Of course, like,
Mop
you know,
locks,
this
yeah.
big thing. I mean, goddamn. That's just one of the cooler abilities in the game.
That's bad. Oh, it stuns
Straight
them.
up, right? And that you can then teleport back to where you started. I mean, there's loads of options probably in terms of gameplay around that. Even crazy things like Zephyr. Matt will talk about that in his video, but oh man, Zephyr, it's like a stampeding roar, like, it's like, I suppose that, and you know, a big like damage reduction. It's kind of crazy. There are certainly some elements where like some of their buttons just don't feel super great yet.
Yeah.
And Essence, which is their resource system.
I hope they go with what they did with Demon Hunter, because Demon Hunter, every button pretty much that Demon Hunter has like a big function. Like, one thing I don't really like about Warrior right now is that we have a lot of buttons that you don't really need to have. Like, and they don't feel good to use. Like, Whirlwind does not feel good to use. It's like, basically, Whirlwind is like you're hitting, it's like you've got 4 pool noodles attached to your body, and you're doing fucking, you're spinning around like you're in ballet. You're doing no fucking damage. All it is slam. Well, slam, yeah, like, I don't think that's as big of a deal because it's not a rotational ability. But, like, yeah, I wish Whirlwind did way more damage. That's my point.
the essence here. I've actually propped
Rappy,
some
thanks
free
for 5
essence.
subs.
Like, the essence abilities don't feel incredible to use, so I just think essence feels like just a tad weak right now.
Okay.
So I'd like to see that get fixed up. But they do have cool abilities, cool ideas throughout. We kind of just need to wait and see where it ends up. It's very early. I guess they have the components there for an absolute banger of a class. That's totally true. And funny enough, actually, whenever I logged into this, it recommended not to make a Drakthir for my first character. It just said, hey, this is like too advanced for you.
That's actually a smart idea. Because like Drakthir, it's the same as like DKs. It's like you had to know a lot about the game to even get into a DK. Like it's better to have somebody start at like level 1 and to have them play through the game than unlock these more advanced classes.
So that's kind of interesting. I suppose they'll be guiding new players away from these.
DK needs
Probably
now,
just because they don't.
No, it absolutely does. Like if you compare like a max level, or sorry, an entry level Death Knight to an entry level warrior or an entry level mage, you need much less knowledge and understanding of the game to understand a mage or a warrior versus a Death Knight. Like that's just all there is to it.
To maybe get them overwhelmed. Certainly, like as you're trying to push your way through the talent tree, there's like a lot of competing things and just sort of like little sub gameplay niches. To give you a quick example of one, like there's Charge Blast, cost 2 essence, and basically whenever you do Azure Strike, which is this like kind of AoE filler, also can be cast while moving. You do 2 of those, then it will power up your Charge Blast to do way more damage. And then with Charge Blast, you can either make it have a 40% chance to reset its own CD, or make it just have an AoE component. So that's like 2 different kind of vibes of that ability. Or if you go way to the AoE component. So that's like
you can click on it and decide what you want it to be. That's cool. Yeah, talents inside of talents. Someone in the game, Blizzard must be a fan of PoE. I like this. This is good. Yeah, I like a specialization. Yeah, these are very good. Like having these talent trees and like these levels of character customization, and he's not in a town. Yeah, exactly. Like I also hope, like this is a small thing, but I hope that they make war mode so you can join war mode and get into war mode outside of Stormwind and Orgrimmar. I think that's stupid. Like it doesn't make sense to me that, like you can only go, like it should be either all main cities or like there should be a hub in like more areas, because it's just annoying. I think that's a big reason why people don't use war mode, is because you can't just turn it on and off. Like I feel like oh well, that's people use, like who gives a fuck? Like it's just annoying. Like like the solution to like people not wanting to do something is not to make it, you know, or trying to exploit something is always not always to just make it what's the word for it? Make it like annoying to do, basically, right? To just like make it obtuse. That's why I never use it. Yeah.
2 different kind of vibes of that ability.
Inaccessible.
Or if you go way to the other end of the tree, you've got Firestorm, which is just like an AoE damage circle thing, that then can proc from Living Flame, which is like one of your main fillers. So that's just like sort of 2 different flavors of...
So what does the spell say? Send a flickering flame towards your target, dealing 7,000 damage to an enemy or healing an ally for 10,000 damage. I feel like, in my opinion, I think that there is a little bit of red mage DNA in these Drakthir. I feel like there's probably like just a little bit of it. Like I can see a lot of like, yeah, this is a little bit kind of like red mage, a little bit, yeah. And I think that's a good thing. Like red mage is one of the coolest classes in Final Fantasy. I think it's fucking awesome.
Side loop, I suppose you can choose when you're in that tree. I mean, the other cool thing, I mean, man, Soar, just like Zoom. These guys actually get like their own little version of dragon riding, and it feels great.
Yeah.
You're going to use it once every 5 minutes, but what's crazy is you can even use it like when you're out in the regular world. Oh, yeah, that may just... Something weird happens in that building, like it boops you out of it.
That's really cool, yeah.
I kind of went through a lot of things for my first impressions. I just wanted to today give you like a whirlwind... you know, like, I don't know, like those fancy small snacks that rich people eat at fancy events. Is it? I forget what you call them. Anyway, those, right? Like just a little run through everything. So I'll do some professions now. Here's blacksmithing. So there's blacksmithing gear, which right now is a hammer that has no stats on it, but it does have a crafting quality.
Okay.
And then 2 accessories, but this is evidently not done. I'm assuming that where my mouse is now is supposed to be some form of talent tree, but that ain't in yet. For the recipes,
so
though,
basically what they're doing is, you guys think like they're basically taking the crafting and making it much more similar to, I feel like, I haven't done Final Fantasy crafting, so I can't really speak to that, but it does remind me, especially with like this bar and like being able to change this bar and finishing reagents, it reminds me a lot of New World. And I think also the talent tree, it reminds me a lot of the fishing rod in Legion. And the fishing rod in Legion, I think, was like one of the really underappreciated badass things they did with Legion. Just straight up out of nowhere, hey, we got a fishing rod for you. It's got all this cool stuff. There's like a whole fucking, a whole thing that you can do here. And if you don't want to do it, it's totally fine. It's like, the reason why I liked it is because it had like the same vibe and confidence of like Elden Ring or like a From Software game, where it's like you have this massive amount of content and we are not afraid if you just don't do it. It's optional. It makes the game cooler, but you don't have to do it. I think that's good.
I can show you a little bit. So like here's one thing. Essence of Tear increases crafting skill by 30 when used in a recipe.
Good.
So then if I was to make these PvP starter arm guards, you can see that normally I could make those with,
let's say 278.
With the 2-star, which is item level 272. Mm-hmm. If I add in the Essence of Tear, that actually doesn't add enough crafting skill for me to make it to the higher level. So
hold up.
That actually doesn't add enough crafting skill.
So there it is. PvP starter arm guards, quality bonuses. So each one is really only 2 points. So the quality isn't really gonna matter until you get to like higher end gear. But the thing is also though, is like having a 1 quality versus a 5 quality. A 5 quality is 8 item levels. Like total. That's a lot. It's not honing. Guys, it's not honing. It's not. Like I've read everything about this. It's not honing. It's deterministic.
Skill for me to make it to the higher level, so I'll just have to increase my crafting skill and maybe earn some talents once they're implemented. So it's an interesting little system, very different to what we've had in the past. Here's an example, like making a blacksmith's toolbox. Now, here's a good thing. So 2 stars there, but here I have, this is Tyrivite ore, okay? But you can see it has bronze, silver, and gold quality. So if I use the bronze one...
So you've got to get quality on... So holy shit. So there's quality from even getting the materials. Okay. Quality of reagents. Is that a good thing? I think that like it could be if somebody is a miner. So like there's a good part of this, right? Because if somebody is a miner and they have mining, think about it like this. It's actually like if you look at it abstractly, it's really good for helping against botting. Because the odds are that in order to get 3-star ores, you need to have a large amount of resources and investment into your character, right? But bots don't have that because they're just made to level up and then they craft. But if you have a character that you have to pick up a lot of stuff for to even obtain the materials that are required that people want, then the bots never get to that level. So it makes it harder for people to bot the higher level materials. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, do you see how this comes together?
See that this bar actually decreases. If I use the bronze one here, you can see that it decreases all the way down to where this now would be crafting at a bronze quality. But if I was to add the higher quality reagents and then add this Essence of Tear, I'd actually guaranteed craft that at gold quality. There is, of course, then also the chance of inspiration where you can basically just crit a higher crafting level. But
I think that's a good idea. Being able to, the thing is, being able to have optional bonuses. Yeah, I actually think that it's a good solution to have certain stars and like to make it to where the amount of effort that it takes to get the ores takes a larger amount of initial investment to get the highest quality, because it makes the barrier to entry for botting it harder to get to.
Thing to know that's
But
nice.
like RNG, like stuff like this, like the problem with RNG is if RNG is the only way. I think that it's totally okay for somebody to get lucky and get a good item. I don't think that it's totally okay for the only way to get the good item is to get lucky. That's what sucks.
Is that the RNG there, basically, like, once you actually level up through it enough,
Titan Forge?
you don't need the RNG to all of his craft at the highest quality. So
Exactly, and that's the good thing. That's why it's not honing. I think that they should bring back Titan Forging, but they should bring it back for only things that are heroic item level and lower. Never let something Titan Forge up to mythic quality, but I think that you should absolutely let Titan Forging for like a world quest reward go up to heroic raid level. Yeah, absolutely. No thanks. Why is that bad? Fought so hard to remove it, now you want it back? No, if you play the game seriously, you're gonna have heroic quality gear or better. This would never even affect you. If you're a serious player, you'd never even be affected by this. I'm saying quality of gear can upgrade up to theoretically 265 item level at this point. If a 265 item level piece of gear, somebody gets it from a world quest, a casual player gets it from a world quest, this is not going to break the game. It's just going to make that person happy, and it makes it more exciting. There's nothing wrong with that. It's bad because you have a best in slot for heroic raider. You have to be looking for world quest. Remember Trigger from Legion? If you are a heroic raider, the last thing you should be worried about is your best in slot. Like you can't make it to where like if you're min-maxing heroic raiding, the problem is not you. It's not your gear. Like that's just a fact. And what's this here? They don't make best in slot items, Titan Forge, from world quest and shit. Well, that's what. Yeah, you can't have that. Like nobody wants an Arcano crystal, but having it like this is actually a good idea. Stuff like Arcano crystal was a problem. So you're saying that you should get rid of the entire system and it shouldn't exist at all because there were 3 outliers. Just change the way that the outliers work. That's like, it's such a dumb way to look at things. Yeah, that's fine so long as it doesn't go to mythic quality. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. I don't think that there should be a universe where you have to rely on this to get very good gear. But I think that if you're talking about like heroic level gear and under that, I think Titan Forging gear up for world quests and other types of like dungeon rewards and stuff like that is totally fine. And it adds an added bonus for a casual player. Absolutely. Why do world quest heroes need heroic gear? Because it's fun. It's fun to get good gear. That's why. What did you think? Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to get good gear.
I'd say overall, my first impression of the... I'll do the deep dive.
It's crazy how people say I'd never bother wasting my time doing Mythic Quests or raids. I get free gear from doing Mythic Quests. It's actually crazy how like I can say something so plainly and people will go out of their way to misunderstand it. I'm going to reiterate what I said one more time. I think that they should add in a degree of Warforging and Titan Forging for base low-level gear that upgrades it up to the quality of a heroic raid. I do not think that it should go beyond a heroic raid. So that way, if you were talking about best in slot, it's still deterministic. That way it gives casual players, because they're doing normal and like fucking world quests, it gives them something to look forward to, something that's fun and excitement. Whenever they get a drop and it's a Titan Forged item, it looks really cool. I think that does have a value and it is good. The problem is whenever high-end players feel like they need to beat their head against a wall, pulling a slot machine for 10 hours a day to get a trinket. That's what's bad. So you don't want to have that happen, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a value of having low-level gear that can upgrade and make people feel good while they're leveling up and starting the game. Yeah, this would not affect high-end players at all. This would only be good for casual players. There is no logical reason why this is bad.
Soon, but my first impression is good. There is more intricacy and depth within the actual crafting process. I think for me, though, I'm still interested to see what does the endgame economy look like, what does the work order system look like, and what do these actually look like when we're in a scenario of real players actually trading with each other.
We can talk about this later.
Instead of
Let me finish this.
just people making shit with resources they get for free on a test server, right? Because that is pretty damn different. So I mean,
yeah, that's what
for
they
the
should
first
do.
Impressions, that's kind of where I'm at. I'll summarize things and I'll give you my best thoughts on where things are going, because remember, I have not seen 4 of these zones. I've not done the starter zone for the Drakthir. I haven't seen the main city. That's not in the alpha yet. This is a super limited early alpha, but apparently, from what I've heard, Blizzard actually intends to test in bite-sized chunks that are more focused, which will mean they'll get more targeted feedback that is more actionable. I think that is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
That actually could make this a significantly more useful beta than ones in the past. Where
That's cool to have little RP things like that. I like it a lot. Everyone gatekeeping heroic gear is clearly stuck on the right. We'll talk about it after I finish this.
It's just these big monolithic builds full of so many things.
I'll talk
At least
about it
this way, they can actually get targeted, actionable feedback. So I'm really hoping that that's going to be good for the development process. I know one thing, this is supposed to come out this year, so it's bloody well going to have to be good, because they do not have the most time in the world to actually test this thing.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, they better get it right
Playing
the first
this class,
time.
I've had a bunch of fun. This zone, I really love. It is just beautiful.
I want to be able to cut down these trees, Blizzard. You did it in WoD. You took it away from me. I want to be able to cut down the trees.
It's beautiful. It feels like Azeroth, you know? And for me, that's a pretty big thing that World of Warcraft's... I mean, to be honest with you, that it has been lacking, you know?
The zone's pretty big.
Has it really felt like Azeroth? I mean, Shadowlands, obviously not. BFA, I think, was shining when it felt like Azeroth, but they kind of started getting all weird with the lore and taking the characters in bizarre directions. And weird things could still happen, that is absolutely the case. But when I just soar around here, I mean...
That's cool that they have big boys like that. I think it's important to have, like, massive, like, monsters out in the world. You know, things like Fel Reavers and shit like that. I like that.
This is Azeroth.
This is good.
That's good to me. So
it's like they obviously did this straight up off of like Borean Tundra.
Just not giving me the core Warcraft fantasy.
And Grizzly Hills.
This can give me the Warcraft fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, seemingly nobody's home, but like we got the Tuskar back. And I know you could say that's just, oh, cheap fan service, whatever. No, they're nice. I like them. I like their culture. I like the way their NPCs talk. I like the storylines that the Tuskar get. It's still just giving me that slice of the world that I know I like, but it seems that they just didn't want to give us. I mean, with Zandalar and stuff, that all felt like, I think, a bit alien. I think it was like kind of a bit rocky.
I never really gave a fuck about the Zandalar thing. Like, I thought the Jaina questline was good. It's just, I just didn't really give a shit about it.
You know, with BFA, like, it wasn't really Super Alliance versus Horde. Like, it wasn't as much as it could have been. Like, it was at parts, but I just don't feel like they've done a great job of delivering it like the core Warcraft fantasy. I don't know, for whatever reason. At least here, I actually feel more of that. Now, we have to see how the story and all of that stuff goes, but on that side, I'm feeling pretty good. On the Drakthir, I'm feeling pretty good.
Some of the Shadowlands stuff looks weird, too.
UI, I think it could be really good, but it's just not done yet. Not even close, so we need to wait and see for that one. Overall, my thoughts are leaning toward positive.
Good.
I think that this expansion could end up being like more of a, you know, a solid 7, a solid 8 than like something that's crazy and blows people away. But I think that's because they've had to invest work in the basics. I
think that's right. I don't think that Dragonflight is going to have like the same level of pop-off potential that Legion maybe did, right? Now, I could be wrong about this, but I feel like Dragonflight is we are going to stop doing all this crazy shit. We are going to build up the foundation of the game. We're going to make the game's foundation stronger.
So they've made the talent system.
That's what matters.
But they haven't made a massive amount of new abilities.
It's kind of like, the funny thing is, like, this is what I've always said, right? Is that it will take 2 to 3 good expansions to make the game good again. Like, I know you can't do it in one expansion. You can't make all of those changes at one time.
So you're not going to log in and feel like, oh, wow, Look at what my warrior can do. Look
Also, I like the fact that there's no stat squish. That means I can do big numbers. I like big numbers.
this new ability they've built for me. This is so cool. This is so fun. That's not going to happen with the talent system. What's going to happen is you'll recreate what you like already, maybe plus a few things, maybe minus a few things, and you'll have a bit more wiggle room.
Yeah.
That's going to feel how it feels. But the fact that the talent system has now solved the like borrowed power and all of that system, it's like solved that development problem.
Yeah.
That's going to be good for the game going forward. And then one thing I'm definitely happy about, though, is the dragon riding feels good. I think that if they really nail the quality of the world content, so in the same way that back in the day, loads of us would do Argent Tournament, we would do Netherwing, right? We do all of those things. That'll be so much more fun with dragon riding. So I'm so happy that dragon riding is honestly a big winner. The video, my like full deep dive into that, is going to be on the channel today as well. So you actually get to see that.
I'm gonna try it out myself.
So yeah, I've played this for, I mean, how long have you been in this character?
It's almost 67.
Oh, this character's been like 7 hours, but there's been generally a lot of gallivanting around other things. Oh yeah, sorry, no, that's this level. Yeah, 12 hours, right? So I've been on this character for 12 hours in the time.
So he's level 67 after 12 hours of pretty much probably casual play. So you'll be able to hit max level in 1 day. Okay.
I've had access.
That's what I'm expecting.
To testing. And they were a really fun 12 hours. I just really enjoyed checking all the things out. Like the Drakthir felt really novel, the zone felt really good.
Mind.
And that's really as far as we can actually go with this stage of the alpha. So as time goes on, more zones will be added. Eventually there will be endgame. Hopefully they will actually give us character templates and the sorts of things that we need to properly test things out at endgame. But for now, certainly I'm feeling good. But obviously, you know, don't pre-order. Wait till you see the reviews. You know, I think it wouldn't be responsible to kind of make all this like alpha hype content before we...
No, there's no reason. Like, I think that anybody who's going to probably decide that, like, I would never recommend somebody to pre-order. Like, there's no reason to pre-order or anything like that. If you like the game, if you know you're going to play it, you should do whatever you want to do with your money. But, like, I'm not going to tell people to pre-order something. I mean, fuck. WoD looked amazing before it came out. There are a lot of expansions look amazing before they come out. I do think that most WoW expansions will be worth your money for, worth your time for money if you value your time at $1 an hour. That's what I've said before, but like, that doesn't mean you have to do that.
Really know how it's going to turn out. Certainly, I'm seeing a lot of positive indicators, and I feel pretty good about that. So, there you go. That is my Dragonflight initial impressions. Of course, check out today's sponsor. They are essential in supporting what we do. They really are. And, I mean, hey, some damn handy business too. So you can check out Nord down below. Thanks to you for watching today's video. There will be just so much content on the channel. So, you know, get sub, do the thing. There will be videos. And, in fact, there will be live streams too that I'll be doing today and tomorrow at the very least. And probably ongoing as we get new builds. All right. Hey, it's alpha time. There's stuff going on.
I'm excited, man.
There's new shit to talk about.
I'm fucking
kind of
exciting.
I hope you enjoyed as much as I'm going to. I'll see you next time.
All right. So apparently, warrior changes. Warrior talent tree has been found. Jay, thanks for the 5 subs, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. There's the video right there. Bellular just put this out. Make sure to go give it a like, give him a sub, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, again, Bellular's made videos for a very long time, and I think this is a pretty fair and balanced thing. I think this was kind of measured as well. It's not like, oh my god, this game is going to change my life. You know, it was measured and fair. I think that a lot of the things that he said were true and also real.